very respected, our very dear, and we really miss you, sir, in RP Center. Again, is now in center for Sight, Professor Pradeep Sharma, sir. But I think you will always remain in our hearts, and you will always remain in RP Center.
Same with you. Professor Namrata, it's really very kind of you to give those kind words. And it's always a pleasure for me to be coming back on this stage. And then to talk on a subject which is dear to all of us, all who are listening on this side or the other side of the presentation. Of course, RPC, we are the best. Why we are the best and why and how we can remain the best is the other question. I have no financial disclosures. As you can see, I have already left RPC and very ceremonially, I was given the retirement last year. So, but my heart, as Dr. Namrata was saying, for RPC's heart is with me and my heart is always with RPC. So that disclosure I would like to make. Professor LP Agarwal's dream that RP Center is there. He founded Rajendra Prasad Center for Ophthalmic Sciences. He was a great visionary. And I think it's very, very appropriate that we are talking of him on this birth centenary year of Professor LP Agarwal. So I would like to dedicate this talk to this great visionary, our mentor. It was my great luck that I joined in 1980 and I worked with him as a junior resident for some months. Concept of super specialty was his genesis, and he also started the national program. But today we are going to talk on the medical education that he did. World over, I mean, generally in India particularly, the education system is like this. We have rote learning. We have people coming in, very nice, intelligent people, but when they come out, they are what you don't want to talk. Of course, LP changed it. The ophthalmic course, LP changed it. So there is a pun there. He famously said, this is a 3 years rigorous imprisonment without parole, but you come here as a donkey and you will go out as a gentleman. So he just flipped. And this is what we are now churning out every year, 105 junior residents. Some of you are sitting here, some are not here, but enjoying at their own rooms. The select lot, he named it MD in ophthalmology. That's interesting. Elsewhere it is MS in ophthalmology, but because he wanted it to be distinctive, he said, no, ours will be called MD in ophthalmology. Then the senior residents and faculty. We have had successive chiefs, and now it's Professor Tityal who is gracing this chair, and we are hopeful that he will take this name of RP Center further higher, and he's already doing it. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Professor Tityal. The patient care is tremendous. And the super specialty clinics are there, which was started in RPC. Annually, as you would have been told by Professor Tityal in the annual report also, there is a huge number of patients which are seen. But it's not just the numbers, it's the quality care that we can give that is important. And this is dependent upon the salient features of clinical teaching that I'll talk about. He started rotation of every 3 months in 6 units, twice in the residency, so that you have an equal exposure. Even to this day, there are parallel institutions in Delhi itself who do not rotate their residents. They are for 2 years in one particular unit only, and then 1 year they are given a ceremonial rotation. That doesn't give them a full all-round learning. So Professor LP Agarwal's one salient feature was this: OPD-based learning with senior faculty posting in the first 3 months, and then afterwards they were posted with the SRs in independent cabins, working up of inpatients, evening rounds with senior residents. But the very important part, which I think Dr. Samar would recall, as he was among those times, when we used to have group discussions 3 times a week, just the evening before the seminar, the journal club, and the case presentations. That was in each unit. There were groups of just 6 people, one from each semester, and they were supposed to be conducting what is going to happen tomorrow. And Professor LP Agarwal would question the group leader if there was anything amiss with any of the team members. That we need to, I think, look into it. Weekly pathology slides was another thing which we have lost. There used to be one slide to be seen by all residents and report by Saturday and then it would be discussed on Wednesday. So that was again giving a very interesting thing. The inpatient file workup, this is something which we are still retaining in the in theoretical form. You see the last penultimate page and the last page. If you fill it properly, the residents, please note, if you do it regularly, you will learn from each and every case, which nothing else, no books can teach you. So this is something which you need to do it very religiously, diligently. Clinical teaching in the evenings, 2 to 4 p.m. The clinics, this time has been changing over under several chiefs in several times. The bedside teaching by the consultants on the rounds was something which was unique. And for this, Professor LP Agarwal did one unique thing. The round day was a day prior to surgery. Many patients felt, why we are put 1 day extra? We can be operated and then 1 day post-op we can be kept. But no, he wanted the residents to learn from the case. So there was 1 full day prior to surgery when the cases could be seen by the residents individually. So the MD thesis is another unique thing. And I can tell you, even 40 or 50 years back, Dr. S.K. Angra's thesis was on preventing cataractogenesis by using some agents experimentally, even relevant today after 50 years. So this was his vision that was there. And this is something which we have now added surgical training as times have improved. We have more technologies and techniques which are coming to our help. And we have these imparting of surgical skills, which many of you may have seen under the leadership of Dr. Tityal. This is now flourishing much more. Weekly teaching in LT is done. And now we are also using WhatsApp. So everything is on WhatsApp. Even the teaching has come to WhatsApp level. And many residents are learning through WhatsApps. Clinical didactics is there. Specialty workshops are going on. And foundation day lectures like today are there. More people attend, it would be better, of course. Live surgeries, foreign faculty lectures, and comprehensive ophthalmology. This was a unique institution where he started ocular pathology, ocular microbiology, pharmacology, biochemistry, and radiology, all separate. And ocular anesthesia also was there separately. A dedicated eye emergency. This is something which is again unique for an eye specialty to start with, even in those 40 years back. And finally, the exam. It was not just 1 day exam. It was a 3 days exam. It was for this reason that the candidate was examined in each and every aspect. The examiners would get fed up of the same examinee again and again. But this is somehow that the resident would be exposed to each and every part, and it was difficult to fail an examinee because he was seen in different specialties. So from a junior resident in January 1980, I was lucky to be, and then I became a faculty, and later on, I have retired in 21. When I got the fellowship and I went to US, I realized the importance of this learning. It was so great that when I went to Jules Stein, I could interact with my mentors, so-called mentors, at the same level, and they also appreciated this. So this is something which will give you that thrust. It's like someone can give you a flute, but you have to learn to play it. Part of the job can be done by our teachers, by the institution, but you have to learn to play it. You may get a very nice iktara, you might have seen the person is playing so nicely, and when you start playing, it doesn't work because you have to learn to play it. This is something which I would like you to say, that wherever you go, you may be having no problems. Yes, RP center gives you a lot of stress. This is true. But then stress is also a form of vaccination. The same amount of stress, if given in an attenuated form, is what we are now realizing is working as vaccination. So this is a stress vaccination that RP center gives you, provided you have realistic optimism. You have training of facing the fears. Social and family support has to be there, because sometimes some children I have seen undergo a lot of stress. They can't cope up, and they have to be then taken to with some physical psychiatric help. Physical and mental fitness has to be there, cognitive and emotional flexibility, and sense of purpose and meaning. And of course, I would like to add that spirituality is something which gives you. Just like daily we take nutrition to have our physical completion, rest is required, emotional energy is required in the form of love and relationships. Similarly, a spiritual energy is required, and that can come from meditation if you can do. Just like charging your phone is so important. You don't miss charging your phone when you get up in the morning. You don't want to go with a depleted battery, but you go depleted soul with yourself. That is something which needs to be charged at the same time. Remember, the greatest feats in ophthalmology are two. One is the IUL, implantation, and the other is phacoemulsification. We all rejoice in those. But those mentors who provided that initially were castigated. They had to undergo a lot of problem by their seniors and by their system. Harold Ridley was posted in Africa, but great men, wherever they are posted, will do something good. So he discovered onchocercia volvulus, which is one of the 5 leading world blindness causes. So you see, a good man posted even in a bad place will do a good thing. That is one lesson to be. Similarly, Charles Kelman, it's not easy that phacoemulsification was accepted by the ophthalmic fraternity. American Academy of Ophthalmology kept on denouncing him till late. And this recognition came very, very late to both Harold Ridley and Charles Kelman. Charles Kelman was a very good musician too, which probably kept him through all this stress. So what I would like to say is failure is a challenge. Don't deny it. Explore your weakness and rectify it. Don't just give up. Continue to treat, because success is just a step ahead. Opposing winds can't check your desire. They just blow to take you higher. Learn and practice empathy and compassion. Treat patients as individuals. In RP Center, sometimes when we see crowds, we treat patients as a group, as a crowd. Don't do that. Each is an individual, and this is much more so you realize when you go out into practice. Improving your stress coping is something which I would like to add. Stress training can improve resilience. Community activities help in that. Be more adept in observing your own self and the self in others. Then you will be able to empathize. You will know how you feel when you would have been in that patient's position. And then you will be able to do better. Being more flexible and not rigid. Gratitude for whatever is happening. Accepting the inevitable and having always a positive attitude, because attitude and aptitude are 2 things, but aptitude depends upon attitude. All work and no play, of course, no way. And RP Center does give you all such opportunities too. And we had a wonderful cultural program on just a night before that. And similarly, we can continue that too. And RP Center ki hardam machi rahe dhoom. I would like to thank you all for this patient listening. But I will just like to say, the world is in front of you. You can make the best of it. But these 3 years are something which you have to make the best of it. If you can really learn to play this flute, this will give you very melodious music all through your life, and you will enjoy it. Thank you all.